But what do y'all think?
I just, I know that as a country, it's very difficult for people to believe that racism and misogyny, they're just alive and well. I think that we don't want to think that about ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, but it's my lived experience tells me that it does still exist.
What's happening, everybody? The mooing cattle over at The View were recently called out by Bill Maher for being part of the cause of Kamala Harris' election loss. Bill Maher's comments were all those hags at The View needed to get worked up, and catfights ensued. Get your popcorn ready and sit back as we enjoy The View react to Bill Maher commenting on The View. Right? Yeah. Let's go.
New article in the Wall Street Journal claims that the shift to the right in this election reveals that Americans view themselves as belonging to a particular economic class more than their race and gender. And Bill Maher said it's not the only thing Democrats got wrong. Take a look.
Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person. What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Yes, if only we weren't so irredeemably unenlightened, we would have elected a black president by now. Oh, what, we did? Asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. They don't want your pity. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class? I mean, again, I got my popcorn. I don't know why people did what they did. I see all these reasons, and so, okay, time will tell. But what do y'all think?
I just, I know that as a country, it's very difficult for people to
Hey, if you like watching videos like these, like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
believe that racism and misogyny, they're just alive and well. I think that we don't want to think that about ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, but it's my lived experience tells me that it does still exist, even if your lived experience doesn't tell you that it exists. And, the facts support that. I think we have a graph. If you look at there's a clear racial divide in who voted for Trump as opposed to who voted for Kamala Harris. It's very clear. It's not only clear by race, but it's also clear by education. And so the notion somehow that that is not true, this is by education. Those who attended college voted for her at a higher degree than those that didn't.
But I think you're missing his point.
Let me just finish. And so I've said that before, and there was so much backlash because I think it's an uncomfortable, inconvenient truth about this country.
But his whole point is they didn't vote for him because of racism and misogyny. They voted for him because they felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
and whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
Black people
they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I'm white, I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not, let me just, what stat are you talking about?
Let me just dissect the
Yes, you can. There's a lot
Hold on. Calm down. Everybody just take a breath. Take a breath.
Well,
take a beat.
Well, let me jump in here because I think, Sonny, what you say is valid, and I think absolutely that is part of the problem. But when we hang our hat on that's the only problem or the main...
I cannot stand that fake ass smile when she's condescending to someone. Like, they're the stats. They're the stats. Don't worry that these stats have nothing to do with racism. You've proven nothing, but sit there and smile like, I got you on this one. She is the worst. Hate is a strong word, but I despise her to the very depths of my loins and soul. I don't know which one is deeper, but both. She's the worst. And Bill Maher, you rascal, every time you push me away a little bit more. And I think I'm out, you pull me back in with a great take like this one. Why are you so right on this, but so wrong on so many other things? I don't get it. And Bill Maher's right, Sonny. Black Americans don't want your pity. They don't need teammates. Stop patronizing them and treating them like they're children. It's so insulting. Stop using entire groups of people for your gain. Your words are what keeps this country divided, which we all know is what you, the Democrats, and the liberal media want. If anything, her ridiculous stats trying to prove racism confirm that liberal indoctrination centers, also known as college or university, are serving their intended purpose. Her lived experience. Get out of here. That's a different way of saying my truth or your truth. There's only the truth. Sonny, regardless of your experience, there's still only the truth. And that's that there will always be evil people in this world that judge someone by immutable characteristics. But overall, we're past racism and trying to move on. Will you just shut the up and let us, please? I have an undergraduate degree and a master's degree. And who cares? So what? It does not matter. I only point out my situation because Sonny looks at people with college educations as better than those without. College, Sonny, is not the resume builder it once was. I guarantee there are many folks that didn't go to college that are 10 times as successful as you. But anyone who's watching this, in case you don't know already, it's important that you know that this is how all liberal media thinks of you. You are less than if you didn't go to college. She's an elitist piece of garbage. Let's get back to the video.
Important that we remember 2/3 of this country does not have a 4-year degree. And in fact, 38% who do live 9 years longer than those who don't. Something is happening in this country. It's a lot of my family who don't have 4-year degrees. They may not even have associate's degrees, who they're working harder than they ever have. They have multiple jobs and they can't get ahead. Kamala Harris had this great thing about $25,000 for first home buyers. That is aspirational, beyond aspirational for a lot of this country. They don't have the credit. They don't have the money to match the other $25,000. This is a real divide here. And when they're told, you know what, we do care about border security, not because we're xenophobic, but because the country is paying more money to house and to help those people.
Then why are the Republicans against giving people a living wage? Why is the Republican Party constantly against $15?
I'm generally for a minimum wage, but a lot of these folks who work at small businesses, not the big corporations, are smart enough to know if there's 50 people at my shop and they raise the minimum wage, a lot of us are losing our jobs. They get that. They don't want a handout. They want a chance to get ahead.
No, and nobody wants a handout. That's why when people started talking about welfare years ago, it's like you weren't talking to people who were on welfare. Nobody wants to be on welfare. Nobody wants to be down. Everybody wants a leg up.